All right, let's get this party started. Appreciate everybody for being here. Happy Tuesday. Let me show you guys something real quick here. We will get to this. We will get to this sticker right here and how it set the internet ablaze just a little bit, and it's humorous. I just so happen to have one of these bad boys lying around here, and also this is pretty accurate statement right here. Pretty accurate. I don't know why it's controversial, but we will get to that. We will get to that. Appreciate everybody for being here. Please give it a thumbs up. God bless you all. Thanks for tuning in today. I know that I've got quite a few new people since the rally shout outs where I could plug my channel and get the word out. Appreciate everybody that's new. Make sure that if you have not yet, make sure you sub, hit the bell notification. Also sub to my second channel. It is still there for use. Just for whatever reason, I haven't had the topics needed to go live on there. I could still, but make sure you're sub to that second channel with the bell notifications. Please do that. Very important that you do that. I thought I had something else, another like important thing to mention before I get started. I'm sure it'll come to me at some point in this live stream. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I hope everybody enjoyed the coverage from Des Moines, Iowa on Saturday. I got to tell you, that place, I've been to Des Moines probably 3 times, and each time was just boring because we were out by the airport. There's just not a lot going on in that town. But this past time, we were downtown, actually. Our hotel was right downtown, and I walked around. I was outside at like 3 in the morning, walked around. It's a clean city. It's almost as if the left hasn't controlled it, taken control and destroyed it. I mean, there's no homelessness, no junkies, no needles, no trash. It just looks like a clean, wholesome city. And it's safe. I was really taken aback by that. I really thought that I would have to step over somebody homeless or at least see some garbage on the street. But Des Moines, very clean city. Please keep it that way. It must be because it's not controlled by the left. That's just my guess. All right. But before we get started, you guys, I want to quickly show you this little stupid, poorly written article, this hit piece that came out. Now, there's only been a handful of articles written about me. I think the Young Turks did a hit piece on me like probably 3 years ago when I was just getting started. I barely had anybody following me at that point. But Mediaite said, after urging Trump rally goers to chant, "Let's go Brandon," RSBN host attacks media for trying to control the narrative. So this is a little clip from our pre-show where we're outside interviewing people in the line. I'm going to play this clip for you guys really quick because if you notice, they always have to do this because they're spin doctors. They have to take little clips and use those clips to craft their narrative. They don't show the whole thing. So here's the clip that they're referring to. Stand for what a lot of people believe in: freedom.
Let's go, Brandon!
Got the "Let's Go Brandon" here. That's not a good enough chant. We need a louder one than that.
Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
Got another "Let's Go Brandon" chant. It's not really materializing like we want, but I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure it's going to happen today.
You know why? Because these people have been online since yesterday. Okay, so they a little. They're persevering right now. The back of the crowd just got here.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Yeah, the benefit of the doubt.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
You got it, guys.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon! Let's go, Brandon!
I love how the media created this monster. If not for the media desperately trying to control the narrative in real time like idiots, that was wild to see. So that's the clip. And basically what they're saying in this article is that it's ironic that I'm saying that the media tries to control the narrative as I'm trying to get people to chant, "Let's go Brandon." But what they leave out is the fact that people were chanting that all day from the minute we got there. It's not something that I went there to incite this chant. People were chanting it in mass from the minute we got there. From the minute they saw that our cameras were fired up, people were chanting all kinds of stuff, USA and Trump 2024, whatever. They were chanting different slogans. So anyway, this "Let's Go Brandon" chant is obviously, it's everybody saying it now. It's kind of funny. It's really funny because the media, like I said in this clip, the media created this monster by them desperately trying to control the narrative. That's them telling you, hey, look, this isn't actually what you're hearing. It's real-time gaslighting, and it's insulting the intelligence of the viewers, right? And so they're saying we're pretty much doing the same thing, trying to control the narrative. This Mike here, this whole article is really about, I'm saying you guys aren't being good enough. They're mad that they're saying that I was mad that people weren't chanting it loud enough, or I wasn't getting the reaction. And that was me just saying, well, you know, I heard people really chanting it. You guys can show a little more enthusiasm. That was me just harmlessly trying to get the crowd into it. But they're basically trying to make the claim that we're controlling the narrative. We're fake news. I believe I'm wearing a Make America Great Again hat in this entire stream. We don't hide who we are as a network. We don't pretend to be something we're not. We are a pro-Trump, pro-America, conservative news network. We live stream church services. We have a daily prayer on our network. We show right now in Michigan, they're calling for an audit, a forensic audit, and there's a hearing outside of the Capitol, and we're covering that live right now. So what you see is what you get with RSBN, and I think that's why people like us, obviously, because we're straight shooters. We tell it like it is. We don't hide who we are. We don't spin any stories. We just show you what's going on the ground, and they don't like that because that's really authentic. So it's just funny to see they're watching us. That's how you know we're doing the right thing, because all these leftist media outlets like Mediaite, which I've never even heard of before, decided, yeah, let's go after RSBN's pre-show. Another thing I always see in the comments, because I do rewatch the streams, I try to pull like some of the best interviews and clip them. So sometimes I'll read the comments and they're like, it's not full. Trump has no support. Look how empty the stands are. Look how there's nobody there. It's like, yeah, but he doesn't speak for 5 to 6 hours. And then also the comments, all these people who don't like Trump coincidentally are calling me out and saying, look at the black guy. Look, they got a black guy to spew their propaganda and nonsense. They always target me based on my skin color. I got alligator skin. My skin isn't black. It's alligator. So I don't care. It doesn't bother me any, but it's really funny that all these people out here are just completely oblivious, blinded by their own hatred of Trump, that they just have no self-awareness. As they project their hatred and racism, they're hateful and racist by constantly. It is constant. They call out the fact that I'm a black person that speaks my mind, and I have no problem being pro-life, being conservative, being a God-fearing patriot that loves my country. They don't like it, so they call out that I'm black and I'm being used for my skin color. And specifically one of the comments. So it's a lot of these media outlets like Mediaite, who, this is why they did it. They singled me out because they always have to try to make the black conservative appear intellectually inferior because they're so threatened and intimidated by it. So it was just a funny little hit piece, and it's not the first one. There's been a couple others, at least on RSBN. So that's just funny. Anyways, let's get to some of the bigger topics here. Kamala Harris, the cringe vice president who's not going to the border, who is uniquely unlikable. I tell you all the time, the insufferability chart of this woman, the meter, the scale, it's way up there. She is up there with Hillary as far as just completely repulsing individual. That's Kamala Harris. So anyway, the Biden administration is using tax dollars to pay child actors to try to make Kamala Harris seem relatable. She has a problem. This makes me think she hired the people to try to help with her communications and reaching out, because she, unlike people at right side, Kamala Harris lacks authenticity. She's not likable. She pretends to be somebody she's not. She is the poster child of racial ambiguity. She's both claimed to be the first Indian American and the first Black American to run for office. She was sworn in as the first Indian American, but that's neither here nor there. It's just really interesting that now they're so desperate to make this woman appear cool and relatable and down to earth that they have now paid child actors for this little cringe video where she's promoting space exploration.
One of the things I'm most excited about. But the other You guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is gonna be unbelievable. So that's one of the things we can do here too, which makes it one of the things I'm most excited.
Cringe. Okay, you can see from this video. Let me blow it up for you. You can see from this video, these aren't like 5-year-olds. These kids look like they're maybe 12 to maybe 15 even. I mean, I'm willing to bet these kids are middle school and high school. And she's talking to them like they're toddlers. You're going to see the craters in the moon with your own 2 eyes in your head that you have. Just this is why this is why we are where we are with this administration. This video on YouTube, of course, they disabled the comments. You guys know how this works. And the ratio is crazy. More downvotes than upvotes. And just the contents of the video. Who is on the oversight board or who is in charge of production and just the image and how this is being portrayed, how this is being perceived? Because they must be fake too. If they can't see through this, she's talking to these kids like they're 5, like literally insulting their intelligence. And of course, these are childhood actors, so they paid for these kids to be there. But it's just really, this really missed the mark, big time. Missed the mark, and the fact that we now know that they paid kids to do this just makes it even more embarrassing. So yeah, it says the official video has been viewed more than 142,000 times as of Monday night and had approximately 2,000 likes on YouTube and 5,100 dislikes. Comments have been disabled. Of course, they got to have the photo with the kids and masks and everything like that. They got to upkeep that narrative. They got to keep that narrative going, y'all. They just have to by any means. But this woman, and what are these priorities? Of all the things you could be worried about, you're over there working with NASA trying to promote space exploration. And I don't even want to get into that aspect of it, but what are these priorities with all of that we have going on in our country right now? This is what she's choosing to focus on. And it's going to have the opposite effect because nobody looks at this as being real or genuine. This is so phony with the little corny music and everything to go along with it. But again, most popular president and vice president in U.S. history. She's just nowhere to be found. When she does surface, it's to make stupid little videos like this and pay kids. You can't even just get regular kids to do this. These kids actually had to audition to sit there for this little video, for the filming of this video. Really funny. Also embarrassing. Now, look, get a load of this photo right here. This is a Southwest Airlines plane that has been grounded, and you see that nice Gadsden flag hanging out of the window. This is from Benny Johnson on Twitter. He says, this photo was just sent to me of a grounded Southwest plane flying a Gadsden flag out of the cockpit. The hero pilots at Southwest and other airlines deserve our support. True patriots worthy of the American freedom fighter tradition. Don't tread on me. God bless them. So yeah, the Southwest Airlines debacle that unfolded over the weekend while I was traveling, but luckily not via Southwest. But when I was at the airport, I saw people talking about it, talking about the Southwest Airlines canceling, I think it was like 1,800 flights on Sunday, 1,800 flights. That's when I first heard about this. And due to a weather delay. Now, I'm old enough to remember that not happening unless it affected multiple airlines. Usually it affects the airport. It wouldn't just affect an airline because, I mean, it sounds so elementary to have to explain this, but planes fly out of a central location and they all go to different places. And if they're going in a general direction, it would affect any aircraft, not just an airline. But nonetheless, that was their official story, was it's due to weather delays and also air traffic controllers. We're just short-staffed. Didn't want to say why, because they think that people are too stupid to figure this out on their own. You're too dumb to actually know the real reason why. And of course, I can't actually prove that it has to do with the mandates. But I mean, look at the shortages of staff in hospitals. I mean, it's not like they could have just came clean and just admit it. Like, yeah, it's actually because of these mandates. I mean, they have no problem admitting like hospitals are letting go of like 1,500 staff members at a time and lots of different shortages in hospitals because people don't want to get the medicine. So why are they trying to pretend like this is anything other than people resisting the tyranny? I think it's because they know it looks bad on them. It hurts their brand. This is not good for their stock price, for their business. It's just not a good look because no matter how you feel about the vaccine being mandatory or not, you would be pissed off if you were stranded at an airport because of this mandate. And now pilots and air traffic controllers don't want to get it. So they're just choosing not to fly. And this is brilliant. The reason why I love it, and wouldn't mind seeing a chain reaction, like every airline that wants to do this, because I think United Airlines mandated it for all employees. I'm not sure. I haven't kept up with it, but I'm pretty sure it was United Airlines. There's probably some other ones. If it happens across all airlines, then that's good. Y'all should lose money if you want to mandate this medicine. And because you know that you can't just turn around and replace a pilot, you're not replacing somebody that flips burgers or holds up a sign saying, go to Liberty Tax on the street corner. You're not replacing that person. You're replacing somebody that's highly skilled, somebody that had to go through hours and hours of flight training, all kinds of different programs, lots of experience before you can fly a commercial airline, right? So you can't just replace them overnight. If pilots band together and say no, then what are you going to do? Lose money? Because you're going to lose money on the front end and the back end. You're going to lose money from all these pilots grounded. Then you're going to lose money because people are going to come after you. People are going to want refunds. People aren't going to book with your airline. But you notice how they don't reassess and say, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe we should just weigh our options here. No, they double down. But here is the CEO. Where's it at? Here it is. The CEO of Southwest Airlines saying that he's not really in favor of these mandates.
I've never been in favor of corporations imposing that kind of a mandate. I'm not in favor of that, never have been. But the executive order from President Biden mandates that all federal employees and then all federal contractors, which covers all the major airlines, have to have a vaccine in place by December the 8th. So we're working through that.
See, blaming it on Biden. First of all, you blamed it on weather. And now that everybody knows that was a lie, we knew it was a lie from the beginning. Now that it's come out officially, yeah, it wasn't just a weather delay. I mean, they're still kind of using that, even though, I mean, where I was at, the weather was clear. I checked the Doppler radar. There wasn't a whole lot. Not enough to where it would affect. I mean, come on, think about it. You got snow delays. We know what storm delays look like. We know what weather delays look like. It affects an entire area. So we knew that was kind of fake, but they're still pushing it. They're still talking about weather delays. How do you have, it's now like day 5 of this weather delay and then shortages. You don't want to tell the truth about it. So that was it at first. And now you're addressing the elephant in the room, which is the mandates. And there have even been pilots who've come out and said, yeah, they're lying about this. It's because they're trying to force vaccinate us and we don't want to do it. So we're not going to fly. Good. Stand for freedom. That's what I said it would take. And I don't know how this is going to play out. I mean, will those pilots ultimately cave? Will they bend? Will another airline say, we're not going to require it, so pilots come work here? Because then at that point, the free market will correct itself. If Southwest wants to be crazy and psychotic, they can lose pilots. They can lose business. They can go out of business for all I care. But it would take something like pilots, nurses, doctors, firefighters, cops, even though it kind of sucks, it's a detriment to the community, right? If firefighters go on strike, that kind of sucks. But these aren't people that you can just easily replace. So you're kind of putting the pressure on whatever corporation that is or company. You put the pressure on them. Like, do you really want to have short staffing in this, industry or whatever? Do you really want that? Because that's what you're facing. How quickly can you retrain? Can you train and replace the people that are on strike? Makes you wonder. So it's an interesting little thing here with Southwest. We'll see if it stays in the headlines or if it just kind of blows over. I could kind of see it blowing over just because there's so many stories in the headlines. And this will probably just be a recurring thing. This is something we'll just have to get used to as part of the Great Reset. Get used to shortages, get used to inflation, get used to understaffed restaurants and all these things, higher gas prices. Just get used to volatility. And that's why I think what it's going to take to wake up the average person is they're going to be affected by this. There's too many people right now that just live in their bubble, their comfort zone. They're like, doesn't bother me. I'm fully vaxxed. I'm this. I don't have to worry about it. I work from home. I don't have to use as much gas. It's going to take, something affecting them before they're like, all right, that's enough. That's enough. It's going to take something like that before they actually wake up and decide that they want to do something. Because right now, everybody's so used to abundance, luxury, easy access. We've had it made here in this country where you could just jump on a same day flight. You could just go to a store and everything that you want would be in stock. Well, gone are those days, at least for now. That's just kind of where we are. And so it's going to take people experiencing shortages and long lines and increased prices for them to realize maybe Trump wasn't that bad. Maybe there's an agenda to destroy the freedom and sovereignty of this country. Maybe they're trying to enslave me. Maybe these news outlets don't have my best interest in mind. Maybe they're just liars. Maybe people will start to see that. John Core says, hey, Mike, how many people were at the last Trump rally? And do you know when the next rally is? God bless. Honestly, I don't think the rally was nearly as big as the previous rallies, the ones he held in Georgia and Alabama and Florida. And I think that could be a byproduct of the fact that the Iowa Hawkeyes were playing. I don't know if that was a factor. It's not like it was a small crowd by any means. It just wasn't his biggest. So I'd have to say maybe 10 to 15,000, whereas the Alabama and Georgia rallies were more like 20 to 25,000. Just my guess. And a lot of when I guess those numbers, it's because I'm looking at the lines outside, the number of cars in the parking lot, of course, the people inside, and how jam-packed the overflow section is. Those are clear indicators. So it was full, but it was also a smaller venue. So that made it a little bit harder to give an accurate estimate. Okay. So now let's talk about this tweet right here. This is so juicy from Tracy Seffel. I have no idea who Tracy Seffel is, but get a load of this. You can't make this up, y'all. I literally put my life in this guy's hands, and we all loved him so much, but I didn't read the writing on his helmet until you have got to be effing kidding me. So this lady goes skydiving, and her skydiving instructor has this sticker on. Well, you can't see it because I'm in the small screen, but she has the guy has an Arrest Fauci sticker on his helmet. So it's funny for so many different reasons. Number one, she said, I literally put my life in this guy's hands, and we all loved him. So you loved him when you didn't know anything about his politics. And then as soon as you find out that he wants to see justice, because it's not like he had anything radical, it had anything bigoted on his skydiving equipment. He just said, arrest Fauci. Okay. Now that she knows that about him, she doesn't like him, even though she did put her life in his hands. You think about how divided we are as a country. You can like somebody until you know what their politics are. And then she's just really just shocked and appalled at the arrest Fauci sticker. First of all, shouldn't he be at the very least investigated for his role in the cover-up of the virus origins? He did lie under oath to Congress. There's been no justice there. I mean, they obviously locked up. Who did they lock up? Michael Cohen, Michael Flynn. I can't remember who it was they locked up and went after and destroyed their life because they lied in front of Congress. So Fauci gets to lie in front of Congress. Fauci's medical advice force closed our economy, caused a ripple effect around the world. Fauci funded gain-of-function research in China. Fauci has been caught flip-flopping on his stance multiple times. He's a complete full-blown narcissist. People don't like him. They're making documentaries about the man, parading him around. He's like the Jim Jones cult leader of this branch COVIDian cult. So at the very least, he should be investigated, and he shouldn't be allowed to give his opinion and have it carry any weight when dictating public health policy at all whatsoever. But here we are. And so she's upset about that. And she's wearing the mask in her little bio, which is funny because she's afraid of the virus, but jumped out of an airplane. You just can't make that up. So she deleted this photo after she got ratioed hard, after it got, it basically was promotional material for InfoWars because it's an InfoWars sticker. So now more people know about InfoWars thanks to her. And this photo of her jumping out of a plane just shows like how, you're living on the edge. You're worried about this virus, but you jumped out of an airplane. Just really interesting there. So anyway, she deletes that tweet. And the only thing she's tweeted since is, anyway, be kind. So she's telling people to be kind as she outed herself as a bigot because she didn't like the guy because of that sticker on his helmet. And that's where we are. As soon as people find out you voted for Trump, or you haven't been vaccinated, or you're anti this, or you are affiliated with this group, then they instantly will start to denounce you. They instantly will start to distance themselves, or they change their perception of you. And that's what she did with this skydiving instructor. But she's telling you to be kind. I think she should probably take her own advice. You should probably take your own advice, Tracy. She's a communication strategist. That's what's so funny about this. She's a Democrat strategist. So a Democrat strategist makes a play that promotes InfoWars and also promotes the idea that Fauci should very much be arrested. Absolutely, he should be arrested. He's a liar and a fraud and a criminal. 100%. So it's really funny. So she's obviously clearly part of the cult of Fauci. I'm starting to notice a pattern, okay? You went from the cult of Robert Mueller. Remember, Mueller's going to bring in Trump. It's Mueller time. Robert Mueller. They actually had prayer candles of Robert Mueller, T-shirts and all this stuff, all this merch and everything off of Robert Mueller. Nothing happened. Nothing burger. Then it shifted to Fauci, and it was George Floyd. It's this constant cult of personality. Well, they say that you're in a cult because you're MAGA and you go to Trump rallies and you want to make America great. That's been your consistent stance this whole way through. Whereas people on this other side, it's just whichever direction the wind blows, whatever seems trendy, whatever's in vogue right now. That's what I'm in. Mueller, Fauci, George Floyd. Let's change our Instagram square to a black square because that means that we're helping save black people. It's really, really bizarre. All right, next story. 16-year-old girl refused to comply with the mask mandate at her school in Albany County, Wyoming. She was suspended, fined, and arrested. So on a scale of 1 to Australia, as far as freedom goes, where do you guys think we are?
You've been suspended. They've asked you to leave.
So here's the video. It's not much to it. It's just dialogue.
I am now respectfully requesting that you leave the premises because you've been suspended. Are you willing to do that?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to formally warn you of trespass. And if you want to stay, you're going to receive another citation for trespass.
Okay.
So you've been formally warned of trespass. Do you want to leave the facility now?
No.
No? You want to stay? All the doors are locked, man. So you want to stay? How long are you planning on staying for?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to go write the citation for you. I'm going to let you know what's going on at this point. This entire building now is in lockdown. So you have now restricted the movement of over 1,000 students who are not allowed to leave their classrooms because you're trying to get back into the classroom.
So they locked down an entire school because she wasn't wearing a mask and then blamed her for it because she took a stand and didn't want to do it. They locked down a school. What sense does that make? And let me get to this comment that I just happened to see really quick. This is from Low-Key T4 Life. I don't know what that means, Low-Key T4 Life. You said, Trump pushed Operation Warp Speed, and Fauci, you're just as lost as the sheep, bro. I'm not a sheep, first and foremost. I know about Trump pushing Operation Warp Speed, but Trump isn't in there mandating the vaccine. He never mandated anything. Yeah, he pushed it. Not a fan of that. I've addressed it many times on this channel, so I don't know what you're talking about. And secondly, he's not the one mandating it. Matter of fact, the last time that he hasn't brought it up since the rally in Alabama when he got booed. He brought it up. Yes, Operation Warp Speed. We did it in record time. Nobody's ever done it. Yeah, he got booed and he understood. He's like, oh, well, I think you should take it. And that's it. And he left it alone at that. Okay. Now, before this thing became highly politicized and ultimately weaponized, nobody had a problem with vaccines. Nobody said anything. I mean, people assumed Trump would have been reelected and put back in the White House, and it would have been fine. Matter of fact, you would have anti-vaxxers everywhere if Trump were still in office. Nobody would get it. There'd be no mandates in place. So to say that this is about Trump, it's really not. Yeah, did he promote Fauci? Yeah, he got deceived. There are a lot of people who are snakes that were around the president. So let's not get carried away there.
Which you are not allowed to do
this
because
video.
you've been suspended. Okay? We will wait you out for some time. I am going to warn you now. If this continues for a length of time to where I feel that we have now hampered the ability for every student in here to get an education, I will be placing you into handcuffs and I'll be taking you down to the jail.
Okay.
And I will remove you from the building.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
This court day is November 16th at 9 o'clock
All right.
in circuit court.
All right.
Any questions on that?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
So this is crazy. This is crazy. She gets a citation, first of all, suspended. Then she gets a citation, and then she gets arrested for standing for something. Standing for something. This is huge. This 16-year-old girl in Wyoming stood up to tyrants as they threatened her, as they tried to blame her and guilt her into bowing down. She didn't bow. So even though she got arrested, she didn't bow. She stood for something. This is wild. But I couldn't be more proud to see somebody, especially that young, standing for something. She recorded the whole thing too. So what is she being charged with? What law was broken? I guess because they suspended her and asked her to leave, then it's trespassing. But it's her school. She goes to the school. So now she's going to be made to be a criminal now. Is she going to get jail time? She's going to get probation. You're going to ruin the rest of her life. What are you going to do? I find it hard to believe her life would be ruined over her standing up for something. People are going to know who she is. She'll probably get job offers because she took a stand. So this will have an opposite effect because in my eyes, anybody that would stand up to this tyranny, these psychotic mandates, which are just rules from people who decided, here's what we're going to do. A bunch of people need to follow my rules. That's what these are. See, people on the left, they don't get that. They see it as, well, that's the law, that's the rule. But yeah, it's coming from some person, just some random person on a school board or the mayor or whoever, principal, trying to enforce this. They're just trying to enforce their will on the many. So anybody that stands up against it, I'm a fan of. So I would love to see what happens with this girl. Hopefully the charges get dropped or she gets the most minute slap on the wrist imaginable, like misdemeanor trespassing or something really so dumb. So dumb. All over this psychotic mandate. And I can't really go any further than that, but it's psychotic. You know, I'm not a fan of mandates. Freedom. It's all about freedom. Some people just don't get that. I don't get why that's such a either controversial concept or it's just too complicated for people to grasp. People just want freedom. That's it. Freedom to choose what's right for you. Okay, moving on. Spider-Man is now coming out as bisexual and will begin a romantic relationship with his male best friend. So that's fun, isn't it? They just destroy everything that they touch. What did Trump say? Everything woke turns to shit. I think he was correct. So now we got to redo Spider-Man and make him bisexual. Instead of just gay, just bisexual. That's what we're doing. So they're moving on from the Superman and Lois Clark, whatever, and moving on to Superman and his best male friend, which I don't have the name. I think it's Jay. And this is after, you know, Batman and now Robin is gay. Why can't they just come out with new characters? I'm not against it. If you want to have your own gay comic book or whatever, do it. But why do they have to change what was already there? And like, it's just weird now. Like, does this look like Superman is trying to, what is the point? They turn it into a love story now. I mean, I see what they're trying to do, but I just think this just turns more people off. This just makes more people tune all this garbage out because you're making it woke. Just start your own brand. Just start something new. I feel the same way about the Disney movies. Disney's gotten so stale. Don't even get me started on Disney because there's a whole lot of dark, sinister motives there. But Disney, instead of coming up with new characters, they have to turn the existing characters black in the name of diversity. That's just lazy. This is lazy. You can't just come up with new black characters. You got to do, what did they do? I think they did Little Mermaid black. I think the one where the prince, was it Snow White? Whichever one where the princess turns into a frog, or I don't remember. But they're turning these characters black instead of coming up with new characters. They're just erasing white characters. Why not just have more? I feel like at one point they did have more diversity when they had like Mulan and Moana and whatever else, these little cartoons. But now turning everything black or brown and then making characters gay. We've seen it with Arthur. You saw Blue's Clues. Of course, they're going as young as they can, but ruining a classic comic book. Yes, I said it, ruining it because you've changed it now. It's not the same thing as it was before. You could have just left it and started something new. This is part of the takedown of culture, of society. This is all about just creating more division, more alienation, more politicization of things that people could just unify behind. Sports is a primary example of how they jam down left-wing political messages to divide fan bases. And they're just subverting every aspect of American culture. Like, you can't go anywhere, turn on a TV, open a newspaper, can't open a magazine, you can't turn on National Geographic without some left-wing political message. That's the thing. It's not even just that they're engaging in politics, it's that they are heavily favored on one side. They're only presenting one side. And that's from your mainstream media to your social media to your comic books, your cartoons, cereal boxes, barbershops, gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants, political messages everywhere. Airlines, different foods, different like food companies, Pop-Tarts, Gushers, they all jumped on that BLM bandwagon last year, and it's just getting worse. This is how you destabilize a society further, is you rupture the fabric. The social fabric is frayed. It's damaged, possibly beyond repair. I personally think it may be beyond repair at this point. So, yeah, it's real fun. Gay Superman. Cleveland Clinic joins Colorado Hospital and says it will stop performing organ transplants for unvaccinated people due to fears of recipients being vulnerable to COVID. Well, if they're unvaccinated already, why are you stepping in of life-changing, life-saving organ transplants to protect them from the virus? Does that make any sense? If they're already unvaccinated, then that means that they're okay with being vulnerable to the virus. But now you're like, well, we're not going to give you an organ transplant because that makes you vulnerable to the virus. So it says the Cleveland Clinic will now require people to be vaccinated in order to receive an organ transplant or become a liver donor. This is because recipients must take immunosuppressant medication following the receival of a new organ, leaving them vulnerable to the virus. Yeah, but they'd have a new organ, which is more important, I think, because then they could remain alive. I don't know. So stupid. This is to prevent a person's immune system from rejecting the new organ as an unrecognizable foreign object. Very interesting. It doesn't seem like it's discrimination at all, does it? And then you got this woman here, Leilani Lutalai. Who's this woman in this picture? You may not be able to see it very well. Anyway, she has renal failure and has been denied a life-saving kidney transplant because she's unvaccinated due to religious beliefs. So they're going to just deny her outright. Whatever happened to right to try? Remember when Trump passed the right to try is a big deal? Now it's like, yeah, but you still need to get the shot for your own good. So we're going to deny you life-saving medical treatment because you haven't gotten the shot. Like that's the most important thing to them. This is sad. This is just being promoted outright. They talk about it all the time. I have no doubt. You could turn on The View. You could turn on Don Lemon tonight. You could turn on Rachel Maddow. You could open the New York Times right now. They love this. They want more discrimination. They want people to be put in a situation where they have to choose life or death if they don't want to get the shot. That's where we are in the country right now. On a scale of 1 to Australia, where do you think we are? We're getting close. Getting very close. Gasoline-powered lawnmowers, leaf blowers to be banned under new California law. Man, this doesn't affect me, so I really don't even necessarily need to talk about it. It's just, as goes California, so goes the nation. You don't see what's coming next. All right, they're going to ban lawnmowers. And supposedly it's because they have new electric lawnmowers and electric leaf blowers. Yeah, how much are those? All right, so if they're banning lawnmowers, what do you think they're going to ban next? If they're banning small gasoline-powered engines, then they're going to go after the larger ones next. And I tell you, man, if they can't tax it or regulate it, they'll ban it. If they could tax you, if they could tax the oxygen you breathe in, they would. I mean, they already have floated the idea, and I don't live in California, obviously, so I don't know if this ever came to fruition, but they floated the idea of charging people per gallon use of water or some measurement. I don't remember if it's a gallon or not, but they were floating the idea of regulating water usage in California because of water scarcity, of course. But it's just insane. It's psychotic. You pay for the water, but we're going to also tax you on your usage if you use too much of it. There's one thing if you're taking like a 2-hour-long shower, which is your right, your prerogative, you want to do that. But it's another thing if you just want to outright regulate how much water somebody can use. So you wonder why people are fleeing that state. Nobody wants to live there. And the people that want to live there, it's hard to afford it. Unless, of course, you're a Hollywood elite or, big tech employee, or you're at the top of your industry. Not a great place to just be an ordinary citizen. You can't even cut your grass anymore. You got to get a government approved device to manicure your lawns. Pathetic. This story, Raiders coach John Gruden resigns after more vulgar emails emerge. Now, this story broke last night. Actually, it started last week, where he had an email apparently, and I don't know why these emails are coming out now. If he started this emailing his bigotry, if he started doing that back in 2011, why is it just now coming out? I always question the timing of old emails resurfacing or old accusers coming out of the woodworks. What is the timing about? There's got to be more to this than just he happened to be somebody that was in the path of some investigation. He got caught up. Because I find it hard to believe he's the only person that holds some kind of views that are contrary to the NFL's new way of doing things. And I do mean it's a new way of doing things. I mean, obviously the NFL, when I grew up watching it, was not politicized at all. It wasn't as soft as it is now. All these penalties, you can't celebrate. The game has gotten really soft. But his emails, and I did read them. I'm not going to read them here because it'd get me in trouble. But he's used some racist language and some homophobic language and some misogynistic language in the tweets. And here's my thing, right? Is he dumb to send the tweets or the emails or whatever? Is he dumb to do that? Of course. You have to know, especially in today's age, that cancel culture is real. They're going to dig it up. Who sends emails about that anyway? It just seems weird. Why wouldn't you send like a text or I don't know. But some of the things he criticized, I feel are at least valid. He talked about how, why is the NFL promoting LGBT players? Who cares? It sounds bigoted, but it's not. Why is that even a topic? Who cares who the players sleep with? Why does that matter when people are tuning in to watch football? Why do they have to promote? They had male cheerleaders for the LA Rams a few years ago. And I know most of my audience, most people are like, I haven't watched the NFL in decades, or maybe not decades, but I haven't watched it since they kneeled, the Kaepernick thing. I get it. I'm still an NFL junkie. That's old habits die hard, right? But they have been promoting this gender bending, like fluidity stuff, and their messages are all political on the back of the helmets now. Of course, you have the segregated national anthem, which I don't even think is happening anymore. So that's good that they backed off of that. The Kaepernick situation, which the NFL didn't embrace at all. I guess they kind of sort of embrace it now, but the promotion of like men being cheerleaders, gay men, like it just seems like it's a distraction from the sport. We all know the sports has taken on a political identity now, especially like ESPN. They're firing people. How many people have been fired from working at ESPN just for saying we should talk about sports, or they're voicing their opinion and their opinions aren't approved? See, they say we want to have an inclusive environment where we can talk about these tough issues, even though you should be talking about sports. They're like, we want to have these tough conversations and all voices are welcome except the ones that contradict or challenge your perception or your narrative. Then they get fired. They get reprimanded. They get called a bigot. So John Gruden, I'm not excusing anything he said. I'm just saying some of his criticisms, although he didn't word them eloquently, are valid. I mean, he said something about women being officials or refs. I don't really have a problem with that. I really, because their job is to officiate. It'd be another thing if they're like, we should have a woman wide receiver or a woman defensive tackle. I would be a little bit put off by that, to say the least. But just a woman being a referee, I don't have a problem with that. Honestly, it's whatever. Women like sports, and if they want to officiate, cool. It's just when he talked about, the LGBT push, there's no place for it, in my opinion, in the sport. So he's fired now, and as a Broncos fan, I couldn't be happier because the Raiders suck. But interesting story there. John Gruden, no longer the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Gotta love it. Now, report: Indiana Walgreens accidentally, you guys, this is an accident. All right. Indiana Walgreens accidentally gives Pfizer COVID jabs to 4 and 5-year-old siblings. Pediatric cardiologist is reportedly treating both kids for heart issues. Huh. This is out of Evansville, Indiana. And there's a news story to this too. So let's hear what they say.
Evansville family with children 4 and 5 years old say they were accidentally given full adult doses of the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine instead of flu shots. They say it happened on October 4th at the Walgreens on St. Joseph Avenue. The family of 4 includes 2 adults and 2 young children, both too young for the Pfizer or any other COVID vaccine. Well, the family's attorney, Daniel Tooley, shared with us what he says are vaccination cards given to the family by Walgreens. They show children born in 2016 and 2017 were given a Pfizer coronavirus vaccine. The family says they left the pharmacy thinking they had gotten their flu shots, but a Walgreens employee later called them and said they had made a mistake. Tooley says the children have been taken to a pediatric cardiologist, and the family was told both are showing signs of heart issues. We've reached out to Walgreens several times, but have not yet heard back.
How is that not national news? How is that not a bigger story than it is? How is that even possible? Oops, we accidentally gave you the wrong shot, and now you got to go see a cardiologist. And kids, 4 and 5 years old. So there should be a massive, massive lawsuit to come out of this. And this isn't even the first time. I showed a story, or I covered a story maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, where I think she was of age. She might have been under 18, but she went to get what she thought was the flu vaccine, and it was the COVID vaccine. So can there be lawsuits? How are you getting these mixed up? I just want to know how. Make this make sense. Can somebody make this make sense for me? I just don't get it. And how many more stories like this have to happen before they do something, before there's some kind of change? That's not just a whoopsie, we made a mistake. That's a big boo-boo right there. And what's going to come out of these kids? What's going to happen to them? Who knows? 4 and 5 years old, it's not even approved for them yet. It's just sad, man. It's really sad. And the family, they can't sue Big Pharma because they're protected by politicians in Washington, D.C. This is so wrong. So wrong. These kids don't even have a choice in the matter. Their parents took them to Walgreens. What are the kids going to say? Who knows what kind of damage they may have? Who knows? But this is not good. This is so evil. Oh. Anyway, Janet C. says, who leaked the emails and why? Jason Whitlock has a great take on this. He said leftists are trying to take over the NFL, and Gruden was vocal that he didn't like the direction the NFL is headed. And that's why I said at the beginning, I think John Gruden holds the same views of a lot of GMs, a lot of these old school coaches, and probably some owners for sure. We know some NFL owners have been vocal about certain aspects of the game changing. They don't like it, but they can't go public with it because they don't want to be canceled. They don't want to be thrown under the bus. They don't want to have to be forced or pressured by the mob to sell their team. But the NFL has always been more of a conservative sport. Like a lot of people who watch football are patriotic. And how do I know that's true? Because when Kaepernick kneeled, NFL ratings dropped off a cliff. People haven't returned. There's still people that haven't returned. Some people are like, not a fan of that, but once Kaepernick was gone, they still watched. But now you see it getting more and more progressive. So John Gruden's views are probably held by a lot of people, from players to coaches to assistants, all the way up to owners. So I'll have to watch Jason Whitlock's analysis of this. I'm very curious what people have to say about it, because, I mean, his views are not that far out of the realm. Now, the racist stuff where he said something about the, I forget, the guy who's in charge of the players union. He said his lips look like Michelin tires. Okay, that's awful. It's stupid. But his stance, like I said, on the LGBT stuff and just the general direction of wokeness it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So I can't even really fault him for saying that. He doesn't like the direction the league is going in. Just why now? Right now, it's just very interesting timing. Anyway, where are we at as far as timing goes? 55 minutes. Wow. Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, I'm just about to wrap up because I've got to take care of some things, you guys. But I want to thank everybody that tuned in today. Please, if you will do me the biggest favor, give this a thumbs up, smash that like button. Do it now. Do it so we can get past these algorithms. You guys know, and this is one of the things I've meant to bring up at the beginning. I forgot. Totally forgot. I have made it past the 90-day period where I could have had my channel completely removed. So if you get 3 strikes in a 90-day period, they remove your channel. The first strike that I got back in July officially fell off yesterday. So I'm kind of in the what you might call safe zone, although I still do have an active strike. I'm not on the brink of channel termination, which is great. So I'm kind of somewhat in the clear, but until this one falls off, which will be, I believe, like December, sometime in mid-December, until basically through the rest of the year, I got to tread lightly, which is why some of the topics you might be like, this is not that important. It's more of a distraction. This is why I'm going to cover some other topics because they're still a bigger part of the agenda, bigger part of what's going on in the country, even though it may not seem like a big deal of a topic. And some of the more hard-hitting topics, if there are some that I need to cover or want to cover, those will be on the second channel still. So it is still very imperative that you are subbed to the second channel. Make sure that you hit that bell notification. Again, don't forget bell notification on both this channel and my second channel, which if you're new and you don't know what it is, Mike Nificent 813. Just give that a search. It should pop right up. Make sure you sub to that and hit the bell notifications. Otherwise, you guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in today on this Tuesday. God bless you all. I'll be back tomorrow. Catch you guys in the next stream.